Hi, everybody. Everybody, no one's here yet, but I'm just gonna start talking about this. So I sold my Bubble Mew for technically a record price by $1, and I'll get to that. But I kind of just wanted to go over what happened with the auction exactly and a bit of the controversy around it. I'm nervous because I always get nervous when I'm on camera, and also because I've never gone live on here before. So we'll see what happens. Either way, this will replay so you can kind of watch it back. Hi, Guitar Freak. How are you? I guess I'll see if anyone does jump in here in a second. But, anyways, let's just get to it and basically start talking about the sale. And then if anyone has any questions, I'll answer them. I'm going to have some of my coffee. Okay. So, basically, just to like give some backstory, I bought this Bubble Mew. My whole thing is shaking. I bought this Bubble Mew for around. I have a video on this, so I've always been very transparent about what I paid and everything. Like, for about 20K. I paid for it 6 months ago, and I was during a card show in Pasadena. He had found me on social media. There was even a story in the beginning there where the guy had claimed to have like a 45K offer, but really he only had my offer at the time and he brought it back to my table a few times. And so I got a little nervous. And I knew that Paldean Fates had like a bad like print quality. And so I thought like, it's been weird. It was weird that it took that long for there to be a first black label. So I immediately thought as a vendor, like this might be an interesting thing to buy. Someone who does social media or posts on social media. I thought that it would be can you hear me by the way, Guitar Freak? I just want to make sure. I've never been live on here before. This is so like impromptu. So if you're still in here, if you can hear me, let me know. I feel like I don't want to talk into the void. Yeah, yes, we can hear. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I don't know how to share this beyond like I don't know how this all works. But I posted that I was live on my Instagram story. I feel like all the social medias are a little disjointed. On Instagram, though, is like kind of where this whole discourse is really happening. I haven't seen too much of it on YouTube, but this felt like the best format to talk about it. Okay, so basically, I bought it for 20 grand, so 10K cash, 10K in slabs. It's funny, one of the slabs that I traded the guy for the Bubble Mew originally, it was the pop one. It was before there was a second pop. Actually, I think it's worth like 20 plus grand right now. So I don't know. Anyways, this market has been really crazy. I'm well aware of that. I really love Mew though. Like Mew is my favorite Pokemon. I have a tattoo of it if you've not seen it in my post. Oh my god, I'm wearing my how do I do this? I'm so dumb. Okay, see? I have carpal tunnel. I'm wearing my wraps, but yeah. So, I, like always have been like a lifelong fan of Mew. He was like my OG fave growing up as a kid. I started with like Pokemon Yellow, and then I just remember like when I saw Mew for the first time in the movie. The ancient Mew promo was very nostalgic for me. Yeah. Anyways, like so I need to have this card because it's also like one of my favorite illustration rares from that era, and to see it in such perfect condition. And like I don't really just buy any label. Like if again like if people do watch some of my vendor POVs like at least like long enough, they notice with me that I do try to buy the card and not the grade, even though I do like to grade and I am a fan of grading. And I can also get in the weeds on another live about this. But anyways, about the card, posted on social media. It kind of blew up. I posted a photo. Beckett pinned the photo. First collector to have the Bubble Mew, even though I didn't grade it myself, but to buy the Bubble Mew. That person basically lied though to his friend and said he sold it to me 45K, even though he already consented to the video being posted and asked me to take the video down, which was insane to me because I was like, dude, like I I literally like just got your approval to post it. Like, what's the big deal? It's not my fault you lied to your friend. So I kept the video up and I don't know, I think he like, I don't know. I think he like just lost contact with me and that after that, but it is what it is. I was happy with the purchase. Immediately I did get some like bigger offers that I didn't expect. And so I started to deep dive into the set, Paldean Fate specifically, and I noticed that the gem rate for the PSA 10 was really, really low. And I also noticed that like in general, the quality control for sets like adjacent to Paldean Fates were really low. So, like for example, we still hadn't seen a Sunbreon Black Label either. And so to me, this felt like a smart thing to buy and hold on to. And then the more research I did, the more I realized like the longer I can hold on to this, the better. But again, like I just started vending full time a couple years ago. I drained my savings to do this. I deal with like a pretty serious like life altering disability, and like I don't say that for like any sort of like I don't like to be pitied, but like I do live with like severe chronic pain. So for me, like holding that much money too as a new business in one card, like that was really scary. But I just stayed strong, held my conviction. A few months go by and people are talking about the card. I go on the Card Lounge podcast. I talk about the card there. I start to get higher offers, like somewhere around 40-ish. And I start to think like, the market is booming. A lot of people are buying low pop cards. This is about like a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago. And I'm like, maybe I should send this to Golden. So I post a story on my Instagram and I'm like, okay, I might send this to Golden, just kind of teasing it, being like a little silly. And I end up not sending it to Golden. Northwest Card Shop sent it to Golden and took the risk, which I think was really ballsy of them. And it sold for obviously that record breaking price. And for, I think a modern card in like any mainline set is like the record. It's like one of the most expensive Pokemon cards, I think in the top 25. So it's crazy, crazy comp. Before that, a week before that, I had someone ask me how much I would take, and I said 100K would be my lowest. I genuinely believed that it was worth that much at the time. A week before this auction, I didn't think that it would go for that high. I my guess was 125K, so obviously it like exceeded anything that I think any one of us thought, but I did still think that it was going to go high. And immediately after, I was like, this is a lot of money. It's life changing money. I have Bubble Mew in Japanese, PSA 10 in Chinese, and like Korean. I have it like in every language that I can possibly find it in. And I have enjoyed the card long enough. It's life changing money. I'm going to send it to auction. Now, the smart thing to do would to be to send it to Golden potentially. Not the smart thing. That's sorry. Let me correct myself. The safe thing to do would be to send it to Golden. And I didn't send it to Golden because I thought that it was such a cool story. And when I talked to Ryan and I met with Ryan, he actually gave me a cash advance of about 120 grand, which I know is a crazy big number. I'm very grateful for it, and I'm still processing it. Like I still don't know. Like it's a big number for what you remember. I bought this 6 months ago, right? For 20K. So that alone was like, whoa. That advance hit when I was at Card Party. I was there as a creator. It was really cool and an amazing experience, but I also had time to go and buy some stuff from vendors. I was able to buy in bulk some things, so I got some good margin. So again, like really, really grateful. But I decided to go with Ryan because I just had a gut feeling that Ryan, like, he's such a nice guy. I don't know. All the heat he's getting online is really confusing because he's so likable to me and he's so charming and he's so like I asked him to drop a contract and he had no problem. Like I asked him to have a lawyer review it because like it's a big amount of money. Like, I mean, I have worked in corporate and I've supported I used to be an executive assistant. I've supported people who have like, dealt with this like these sums of money and I've seen these deals sort of happen. But like for my own business or for myself, like, it's new to me to some degree for this volume of a sale. There's this high of a sale for one Pokemon card, mind you. So I wanted a contract and I wanted to make sure it was all kosher. And I just felt really safe with Ryan. His team was fantastic. God, his team is amazing. They're on it. They're really, really sweet. And like made me feel really good the whole time. And just like, because it's risky. Sending it to eBay is risky because eBay doesn't usually do high-end cards like this. And also, like, I know there's only a few people in here. If you guys have any questions, like, I want this to be a conversation. I'm trying to like give you the context, and then if you have any questions, I'll answer them. But you know, uh, whatever. So in my head, also, when I posted the card on social media, and I've been talking about it on social media, it was good for content. So I figured at least I got my advance. Golden didn't offer an advance, and also my advance with Ryan's Card House had no clawback, meaning that let's say the card sold for 80K, I would still get 120 grand, right? I'm not gonna say no to that kind of money. Like, I don't know. I'm like I don't know how people perceive me because I'm newly getting some more attention online, right? So for me, it's kind of like, you know, anyways, point being that I also hi everybody. I've never gone live on YouTube, so thank you so much for. But yeah, so long story short, I had the money. I was like, I'm gonna mitigate the risk there, and also I'm gonna have a good time doing it. Ryan makes a lot of content. I make content. Why not? And what was the coolest part about it is the second that it went live, and I may be skipping the NBA thing, which I'll get to in a second. But the second it went live, like so many people were watching, and like I think it breaks a record for the most watched auction in a 7-day period out of all TCG categories. Now don't have confirmation on that. This is what I was talking about with Ryan, so I could be wrong on that statistic, but I do know that it was a very widely watched auction. And so yeah, and so anyways, there was a ton of excitement around it, and it was fun, and we were all talking about where it would go. I was at West Coast Card Show. You know, a lot of people were continuing to consign with him as they usually do, but he was signing even more black labels. It was really fun to see that, and I was really excited to also, because Ryan's big in his own right, if not so much bigger in terms of like what he's accomplished, and he's a very successful man, and people really respect him. And there's a lot of trolls on social media that just don't know I'm sorry, like I sound like a boomer, but there's just a lot of people that like don't know what they're talking about. Unfortunately, that's like part of it. Not to sound petty, but like that's a big part of this too. So and that's why also I hope that information helps like people in the hobby and collectors and people who genuinely want to know what happened here, to kind of get the story. And then you can make your judgment from there. But at least get the full story. And I apologize it's taken me this long. It's been really a crazy few days. Um, but yeah, so backtracking here, the NBA sticker was actually my idea because I wanted it to have an NBA sticker. I was vending at Front Row Vegas, like, I don't know, a month before I agreed to do this with Ryan, and NBA was there. And I was like, shit, I should do this because I thought in my head, and I'm just like, I try to collect perfection too. So I wanted this card too. I love a perfect copy. I thought that mine was like a hair better than the one that sold recently, like the one that I'm, had at auction now. And anyways, so I got the sticker. So if this was before I planned to sell it, mind you. Like I got the NBA sticker before I planned to sell it. Or I wanted to get the NBA sticker. Sorry. So I told Ryan, like, I want to get the NBA sticker. Can we make it happen? I'm at Card Party. Can you take it to Pasadena for me? He did it. It was really exciting when he called me and told me that I got it because I knew, like, it is redundant, right? Like in theory, all black labels should get the black diamond from NBA, right? It's redundant. I completely agree. However, like we do see some inconsistencies in grading sometimes, and an extra layer is like really no big deal in my opinion. I don't think it changes the value that much of the card per se. I just think it's a nice thing to have. So like I was gonna do it anyways. That's the whole NBA thing. I don't think it like I don't think the point was to make the card more expensive per se, but it does make it stand out a little bit more. It's a little bit flashy, I guess. I agree with that, but I was gonna do it anyways. Anyway, so the cards the cards up. I also really I like NBA, like especially for some PSA slabs. It's nice to get like another look at it, and I've seen some really consistent results. So, anyways, um, that is the auction ran and got all the way up to 181K, and I was sitting here like with 10 minutes to go. I was on Discord with some friends. My friends came over to like my real life friends outside from just online, and then my brother came over. My brother was here. I mean, my boyfriend was here. He got back from work, and yeah, the auction like ended at 181 and I was sitting there like, "What?" It was so anticlimactic for like how many people were actually watching the auction, and I was so confused. But I was also like, I'm so grateful. I get 95% of whatever's left over. Like, I'm not going to complain about that. That's amazing. Let me just move on and go to dinner. So we were going to go get dinner. We are going to go grab some sushi. And that was it. Ryan called me. He congratulated me on the big sale. And then all of a sudden, I get messages from the private buyer or a private buyer who uh, I found out in that moment owns the first copy. So he won it on Golden. So now he is going to control the population of both cards. And it's funny because I tried to do the same thing. So after I bought the first Black Label, when the second one appeared, his name's Kev PC on Instagram. He graded it. Big shout out to him. He's a really awesome collector. I think like he's on the West Coast. Another card shop ended up buying it for him. I couldn't match the bid essentially. So basically, this private buyer messages me and he's like, I was trying to bid, sends me a screenshot and a video recording saying, like, look, my bid didn't go through. It looked like eBay blocked his bid from my perspective. Um, I we also thought that maybe he didn't put it in time. To be fair, he did it like 4 seconds or 5 seconds before it actually like I think he should have maybe done it like with a minute before. And his max bid was really high. It was like 300K plus or something. So, I'll just say that. So he was intending on buying this card, I think, at like a pretty big cost. And so he was upset. And so I got him on the phone with Ryan. We explained the situation to Ryan. I'm like, listen, like if you want it, the other guy want it legitimately. I don't know what to tell you. At the same time, though, the person who bid 181, and this is from Ryan's end, and this is where people need clarity from Ryan. This is what I was told, that the buyer, I guess, decided wanted to cancel it, didn't want to pay for it. I just want to like address really quickly. I don't need to show my own bids. Like some of the shit that I've been hearing that I'm so confused by. Like why? Mind you, this private buyer offered on my card before, and like around, I think it was around 170. I think he flirted that number if I recall correctly. Don't quote me on this part, but people were offering on the card. So it's not like people didn't want this card. People wanted this card, and so anyways, I guess he canceled, and then we closed the deal. And he had offered the last sold, and then Ryan was like, "Can we do it $1 more?" And I thought that was funny because it beats the golden record by $1. Because this was just such a roller coaster, and it all happened so fast. I think it's technically paid, like it's processing, but anyways, he's buying the card, so that's not a concern at all. But we put it in the buy it now. He bought it for that price we agreed on, or Ryan did, right? Like by proxy, bought my card, and that's it. So that was done. But then I go to sushi dinner with my friends, thinking, okay, mind you, my payout just doubled from, after you do the math, from what, like 55 grand to like 104 grand, right? So I'm just like, huh? Like I'm in shock, right? Like this is a lot of money, and I think anyone would have sold this card if they were in my position. Like I make good money, and I've been doing this for a long time, but I'm not clearly at this private buyer's level. Who, well played. When you guys find out who it is, like well played. I really respect him. Super super dope person. I haven't talked to him too much, but from what I gather, he's really really dope. Super interesting. I'm excited to like follow his story. I know that he plans to post it, I believe, but I don't want to make him do something that he doesn't want to do. But he does plan to post those those two together. Anyways, I'm at sushi dinner, and Ryan calls me freaking out, and the buyer as well. That someone, his username's Halal Trainer. He makes kind of like rage baity content. It's a little trolly, whatever. He's a funny guy, but he was using AI to claim that he owned the first Black Label Bubble Mew, and it looked really real. I believe that he might have been the owner because he fooled all of us. So there was this whole drama with this AI, and essentially he was like, I forget if he was sent a cease and desist. That's what I was told by the private buyer, but essentially he was forced to take down all the videos claiming he owned the first one, and that was done with there too. In that moment, I was like, oh my god, that's bad. Like, because we thought that maybe that the private buyer was trolling us now. Like, and then now we don't have a sale, we have to relist it, which again, like there have been really big offers on this card, so it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it was just like, oh my god, like this has been what, all this hoopla for what, so we closed the private sale. That was it. Like that's the headline essentially. Like that's the story. I'm really grateful for it. For me, I have a really like insane like disability. It's a genetic disease. It's called Sherman's disease, and so like my spine is slowly crushing my organs. I've been limping around card shows a lot. And I don't say this for sympathy. I'm saying what this means to me. Like this is money that can really help me, do my business in a way that's more comfortable to me and my like needs as a person who has this disability. And to me, it's not a limitation. I try to use it like a superpower. It motivates me. It inspires me. I'm very resilient. Very like a Mamba mentality, if so, so to say, like it's very much something that motivates me to keep going. But at the same time, like it's definitely been hard, and I've been doing good, but this is a big, big, big break for my business, and for me. And I get to buy some more Mews that I love that I'm going to keep forever. I just bought a Gold Star Japanese PSA 6 from my friend Gravity, who vends with me a ton, and he works part time or helps Lone Wolves part time, which is maybe the logo you're seeing. That's my company. Um, and if you're new here, by the way, I stream on Whatnot under Lone Wolves. This is actually we're getting a new sticker. We have like a small little cult following there. It's about 18,000 people there. And the streams are really fun, and we do like high integrity, like very transparent singles shows. Sometimes we do rips for fun. It's an awesome community. I've taken a bit of break from streaming, but we'll be back soon. I'm hoping to stream on here more. Maybe rip packs here, open packs for people as well. Um, what else? I guess that's the story. There's no foul play. There's no shill bidding. It ended up going to the person who wanted it most. I want to just tip off my hat to the private buyer. I was going to do the same thing. People can call it whatever they want to call it, and he might get hate for it, but I mean, well played. Really, really big purchase. The copy is absolutely stunning. I think that the pop on this card objectively might get to a place of like 6 or 7. Listen, I've deep dived on Paldean Fates. I know what I'm talking about. It had a really bad, it had bad QC. It had really bad print runs. It had like one clean print run that we know about for sure. The rest is speculative. We'll definitely see maybe a few more copies in the black label in the next few years. Obviously, that makes sense, but I don't think it's going to be a lot. I think it stays low pop for a very long time. So, if I could have held on to it for longer, I would have. It just didn't make sense to me at this point. And I was jokingly say 10 Japanese bubble me like I think me and you are going to be okay, buddy. I did buy a PSA 10 copy for myself as well, and I'll miss it. You know what I'm saying? So I got a warning that my connection is unstable. So let's hope that's not the case. Hold on. Make sure we're on. And then if anyone has any questions, please. I don't know. Like, I guess I hope this clarifies a lot of things. Also just want to say sorry to Ryan for some of the heat he's getting. I think that sometimes inflection is lost in text and online, which is why I wanted this to be a conversation. But since people were clamoring at us, like I know there's 7 people in here, but the second I post a story on Instagram, it's been like insane. I don't know what it is, but there's been a lot of people asking about this. I've tried to tell people as much as I can. But yeah, there's really no monkey business here. It was just like a wild thing. I felt like I was on the episode of an I was on an episode of Industry. It was like so funny. And it's funny because I've closed big deals like this in when I was in corporate, but like I left corporate to do this. I trained my savings, yada yada, the whole story. I took kind of a big bet on this, and also it's really hard for me to hold a 9 to 5, so that's why I also love selling for many other reasons. Oh my god, there's so much I could say about this because not only is this my favorite Pokemon, not only is this the biggest sale of all time. I made 200 grand on one Pokemon card in 6 months. It's something I am going to celebrate, and it's a weird thing to celebrate as somebody who started collecting 8 years ago as a purist. I love this hobby. I am obsessed with it. It's all I've done every day. My friends used to tease me about it even as an adult. I play the card game, and so there's a part of me that hates how much value has become so core and central to this hobby as well. And not hates, but like struggles with this, right? And so I've tried to find like a balance between the two, like a duality here, right? Like on one hand, like I think it's okay to make money in this hobby. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But on the other hand, it's to be the most important thing is to be honest, to have integrity as much as you can. I'm not perfect, but I maybe could have handled the situation differently. I don't know. Dude, I was just trying to sell my Pokemon card at the end of the day, right? Like, but I really do love this card. I'm really excited to who it's going to. Genuinely, like I'm smiling thinking about it because He's really really an interesting and an intelligent buyer, it seems, and so I'm excited to also maybe learn more from him in the future, just by what he does and what he talks about. So that's cool. And he seems like a private kind of person, so I don't know how much that how quick that's going to be. So again, remember guys, like the internet is a beautiful place, but like we live in a society where like people like they demand things like right away when like it takes time. Like it wouldn't make sense to talk about all of this so openly right away when we were still finishing the deal, making sure everything went through. eBay gave us some trouble. This is what I've heard on Ryan's end. Like, they've been very open with me, what's going on their end. I'm really sorry for all the shaking, guys. I need a new desk. I just moved into a new spot with my man. So well, I need to talk to him to help me with this. Ugh, oh my god, I wish he wasn't at work so he could help me make this stop shaking. But yeah, that's it. I don't know what else to say. Does anyone have questions? I'm not sure what else to talk about here because I think that's the story, right? A big card was sold. That's it. Like, and it went to someone who wants it really bad, and good for them, genuinely. And I'm very grateful and I'm very happy. And I'm still processing it. Honestly, I'm tired. I also don't like. I know that like it's something that is like sorry, I feel like I'm struggling to get to what I'm trying to say, and maybe I'm guarding my tongue because it's like vulnerable, but um and I think like you don't want to come off in this hobby like I think like showing feelings too much or emotion, but I guess I've always done it differently, so it doesn't really matter. But you know, it's not so much about the money; it's what this money means to me. One and two, I hope that in my work in the hobby as a vendor and as I continue to create more content and as I continue to work with more people in the space that like, we do continue to talk about what makes Pokemon so special, and it's the people. I'll never forget this week, dude. Like it was fun until it kind of wasn't fun, but then now it's still like kind of still really iconic. You know what I mean? Like what a moment. Um, I'm nobody special, but to see a card that I like bought and to have posted on social media and like for this card that I bought 6 months ago to get all the attention that it did is insane. I think it was talked about as much as like Logan Paul's recent sale. It's just crazy to me. So that's cool, and I'm never gonna forget that. Really exciting in that regard too. And yeah, uh, congrats also to all the people who have made some funny and interesting content about this. I've seen some really really funny responses. A lot of them have been really balanced. It hasn't just been hate. A lot of people have been showing a lot of love. I just did want to address and try to give the full story so people can kind of have an idea more of what actually happened. But yeah, again, the buyer is not Halal Trainer for those asking. It's not him. The Bubble Mew guy, he calls himself. He's not. He was using AI to claim that he owned it. So I listen. I'm not a big fan of that, but I have no hate to him. I'm not. I don't like that kind of shit. You know. But anyways, I, I guess more soon if you want to know more. But I like that's the story. Tatiana, anybody have any questions about this at all? Anything at all? Because it seems like people were really maybe people just like rage in the comments and then like keep scrolling. That's what I imagine that most of it is that. Aside from that, to end on a positive note, I want to say thank you so much to everyone who's shown me love. Uh, we have almost we're like over 7K subscribers here on this YouTube channel. I really am really grateful for everyone who's been here and who's followed my journey here as well, and also on Instagram, and have been supported by a lot of friends who are also doing some really cool things in this space. I also have a podcast with Dusty Go Goat. We just put out our second episode where I also touch on this a little bit and how the auction made me feel. But I'm a huge Pokemon hobbyist in general. I play the video games. I'm in too deep, like way too deep. So we basically just get in the weeds, and we're just both like two nerds geeking out about what we talk about all sorts of stuff on there. It's giving geeky squad or giggly squad, but I was thinking geek. It's giving giggly squad, but Pokemon. That's our kind of like overall vibe. Like that's our elevator pitch. And we're still warming up, but we're having fun doing that. What else? That's it. I guess stay tuned maybe for more lives if you guys resonated with this in any way or you want to hear more. I would love to also talk a little bit more about, in general, like in the future too, the state of the hobby and like where we can go, not just from here, but in general, like to make this hobby a little bit more accessible. I will say though that the sale is to me more an indication that the hobby is growing, not that there is some sort of like big bubble or whatever. I think this is a true boom. I think, unfortunately, even as someone who is like just a big collector at heart and wants to keep everything forever, Pokemon is an asset class. Again, I don't think there's really anything wrong with buy sell trading. It's been around since I've been in the hobby for a long time now, like at least a decade, maybe a little longer as an adult. I think as long as you do it ethically, and I think that's what Ryan did. He did it ethically. I didn't show bid. I swear to God, I bought another Mew on their site. I can prove it, which is crazy. But yeah, that's it. Aside from that, whoa, I made $200,000 on one Pokemon card. So I'm gonna go touch grass, and start planning for the future and continuing to grow as a person and my business, Lonewolves TCG. And I hope to be a light in this hobby. And so I'm sorry if I felt, yeah, I don't know why I'm apologizing so much, but sorry, I'm nervous. I'm gonna go touch grass. I'm really grateful though. I'm really grateful, and thank you for taking the time to listen to the people that were here. Much love, everybody. And if you do have any questions, now's your chance. Guitar Freak, I see you in here still. If you have a question, just want to make sure I'm not just talking at you guys. um, I know someone getting in line right now for some product. I'm explicitly anti-scalping, so I also sometimes will stop at the store. So I might go to Target just to get a couple packs. I only resell Japanese because I have Japanese suppliers and Chinese suppliers and pretty much everything but English. So yeah. For vending, while we're here, I guess. So for people who are plugged in, who will see this later because I know it's early in the morning. And for some people, we'll be vending our next card show in so I'll be walking Collecticon Las Vegas, and then I will be a featured creator at Card Party in Fort Lauderdale in July, and then I'll be back to vending in July. So end of July, I'll be in Vegas again, I believe. And yeah, that's it. That's everything. I guess yeah. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to each other. Collect what you love. And one last thing, Pokemon's for everyone. I've been also getting some DMs about like my sexuality, which I never bring up first, but since it's always brought up to me, whether it's the way I talk or whatever, I'm like, I don't. It's gonna happen. It comes with the territory, but it's coming from some people who I know are vendors and some people in group chat. It's so guys, we're not in high school. It's 2026. I'm a gay man. Deal with it if you have a problem with it. If you don't, God bless. Happy Pride. Celebrate yourself, be yourself. That's the whole point. As long as you're not hurting anybody, that's really my message here. Aside from this big sale, and I think today is locals day. I'm gonna go play the TCG to ground myself a little bit, and that's it. All right, all right, y'all. Seriously, God bless. Much love. I'm gonna end the stream. No questions. I think you made it very clear. Period. Slay. We're going to end it right there. Goodbye, everybody, and talk soon.